Welcome to today's webinar, The Business of Air Pollution, when everyone is your consumer. For those of you that this is your first time joining us, my name is Ronit Margulies, and I'm the Digital Marketing Manager here at BreezoMeter. Before we get started, I wanted to go over a few housekeeping items. Today's session will be recorded and emailed to you afterwards. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. To ask questions, please use the Q&A panel that can be found when you click on the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Feel free to send in your questions at any time. On today's agenda, what we've learned from monitoring worldwide air pollution, the complexity of providing a unique experience for every single consumer, how environmental data allows for one-to-one personalization, examples of industry leaders empowering their customers to change their behavior for the better, and of course, your questions. Today's webinar will be hosted by Soli Hassin, Environmental Business Manager here at BreezoMeter. Soli feels strongly about making a change in the world, and even before joining BreezoMeter, he used the consumer app every time he would go out for a night walk with his wife. And as a part of the team, it brings him nothing but joy to pass the solution on to others. Soli comes with many years of experience delivering full-service solutions to professionals across industries, and was actually, fun fact, a lawyer in a previous career. He, by the way, is also a huge soccer fan. So if you want to chat about upcoming Europe Championship next year, he's your guy. Take it away, Soli.
Thank you for this kind introduction, Ronit. So our story begins 5 years ago when one of our co-founders and CEO, Ron, was looking for a new home for him, his pregnant wife back in the days, who also suffered from asthma, and for his future kids. Air quality was always and still is a major consideration while looking for his new home. As an environmental engineer, he truly believed that getting information about air quality is easy, but it wasn't. He could not find relevant air quality data for any location where he looked. The data for each pollutant came from separate sources. It was hard gathering it and even harder to get any conclusions out of it. So he decided to establish the BreezoMeter. So finding real-time air quality data would be easy, accurate, and will help all of us get more informed decisions regarding our health and the health of our loved ones. So BreezoMeter actually gather information about air pollution, pollen, weather, and our latest addition, the Fires API, on an hourly basis. We actually deliver it by using a simple structured API, and it displayed in an intuitive way on any device screen, app, dashboard, whatever you have. And we provide this data that you see on the screen for 94 countries for air quality and 56 countries for pollen. Air pollution really affects everyone. This slide is harsh. I know it meant to be. The effects of air pollution are felt by every population, and the longer that we are exposed, the greater is the impact.
But Soli, we're not talking about the air aware here. I mean, we all seen these headlines. They're up there in the news, and we know that logically air pollution is affecting us and it's getting worse. But we're talking about everyday folk here, these consumers. They're just trying to get through their day, their sensitivities, their children's sensitivities, the best and healthiest that they can. Do they care about air pollution?
Well, it's true that some segments are more aware of air pollution. So, for example, people that suffer from asthma or people that have lung disease. But when it comes to the general public, especially in the Western world, they don't really care about air quality. Let me tell you what I mean. Most consumers, and you know what, actually most of the people, are motivated by a more emotional place. They want to live happy and healthy lives. They want to protect their loved ones whenever they are, at any time. So for example, if I'm going outside with my daughter, she's 1.5 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, and someone smokes a cigarette next to her, I would surely take her to a different place.
Definitely.
And it's not because I'm thinking about air pollution, but I'm thinking about keeping her safe, keeping her healthy.
Keeping our legs clean.
Exactly,
The air she's
exactly.
breathing.
And I would immediately leave the park, you know?
For sure.
So, and this really comes down to the smallest things. Let's take another example. Me taking my kid to the park. I'll probably think about things like the weather. Is it going to be rainy outside? Will his friends come to the park so I can finally rest for 1 hour?
Just 1 hour freedom.
Exactly. But when it comes to air quality, we may not automatically be making the healthiest decisions. Now, what if a tool existed that was easy, accessible, and relevant to my exact location?
That would be amazing.
You know, my choices would look a bit different. So in this scenario, my wife is just texting me, hey, Solly, right now, air quality at the park that you meant to go isn't that great. And immediately, she also texted me another message saying, go to the park on the other side of town. The air quality looks much better. And, you know, just like that, I made a more informed decision.
It's just that simple.
Yeah, it is. You know, when you get simple, straightforward access to the relevant data, it will impact your decisions. It becomes a no-brainer. And that's when you see behavior changing.
And you know, Soli, when you see consumer behavior change, the market is soon to follow.
You're exactly right. And here you can see some of the industries we work with. Every day, we encounter new companies who approach us so we can help their consumers make more informed decisions in a way we never thought before. So for example, for the healthcare industry, users really rely on our data in the most basic way to improve their health and their daily routine, to better take their medications or use different on their treatments. And you know, if you are one of these industries, a change is already taking place. This is no longer just for all the adopters that live among us. As I mentioned before, we are talking about more informed decisions, which requires providing the right type of data and ensuring that this is relevant and personal. And what kind of data am I talking about? It's the data of today, where as data of yesterday was updated only once a day and rely usually on one data source. Today's data is collected on an hourly basis. We're using multiple data sources and our resolution gets to 500 meters. So think about it, you can get air quality data in a street level resolution.
From one park to the next park.
Exactly.
And how do we do it, Soli?
So this is a nice deck that actually explains, it's an overview on how do we collect our data. So we're using more than 45,000 governmental monitoring stations, very expensive equipment, and the best there is. We're taking into consideration meteorological data, which we know affect air pollution. We're using satellite information, satellites that belongs to NASA, to measure certain pollutants, and we even take into consideration traffic emission. And in traffic emission, we actually collect data every 12 minutes. So think about it, in every 60 minutes block of data, we get 5 blocks of traffic emission. And in order for us to provide the most accurate air quality data, we know that we need to validate our data. So we actually use something called the leave one out methodology. What we do, we actually eliminate one sensor's data from the algorithm input and calculate the results at that sensor specific location. Then compare the output to the actual sensor reading. And you know, because we're able to provide accurate data at that granularity, we can speak to the personal sensitivity combined with the air pollution to provide actionable personal recommendations. We allow industry leaders to get to a level of personalization with their customers, allowing for changes in default behavior that would not be possible were if not for this level of granularity. And you know what? I gotta show what I mean. So let's take, for example, Aldis. Aldis comes from the smart ventilation industry. And they had a problem. They were having a hard time to explain their value. You know, we didn't discuss it, but air quality, we all know, is invisible.
Indeed.
You cannot feel it, you cannot smell it, you cannot see it. But think about it. If I would sit in my room and I would know that right now inside my home, using all these sensors, the air quality is very good using their ventilation. So the air quality is high, it's around 95, which is great. And then compare it to what happens on the outside, where air quality is very low, and it's around 45. It's immediately visualizing what is the added value of this ventilation system. And that's exactly what we do. And you know, they do it by using a beautiful app they developed. And you can also activate your ventilation system from far before you get home. So think about it. You come to your house is already clean. You know, you already have clean house and clean air for you and your family. Another great example is ALK. They developed an app called Clara, and they're a huge pharmaceutical company. They came to us after realizing they needed environmental data. Started off by integrating our pollen data, and then decided to also use our air quality data. And they did it to stay in top of mind 24/7, 365 days a year.
I really like this app, Soli, and I'll tell you why. Because in addition to that, they were also able to get even more personal. What they did was they asked the users, you know, what kind of symptoms they were having on any given day, what kind of allergic reactions. So then with that information, they were able to say, on this day, this type of pollen was high, or this type of pollutant was high. And they can say to the user, this is a good day to take your allergy meds, or maybe stay inside. Don't take that run today.
Exactly, and exactly for that reason, they also saw increase with their user retention.
Exactly.
So another example, you remember how we talked about that there are many industries working with us?
I do remember that, Philly.
So here's a nice example from the cosmetics industry. Well, many cosmetics companies now have product lines that are anti-pollution.
Now we have anti-aging, anti-dryness, and even anti-pollution, which actually makes sense because it's protecting us from all of the elements. And now we're aware about pollution even more. But I have a question. How does a cosmetic company go about promoting a product such as this, but also take care to keep their users engaged even when they're not in their morning or evening daily routine of putting on their cream or their cover-up?
So that's a great question. So in this case, L'Oreal benefits actually twice. First, they're creating brand credibility. So don't just, you know, use your mask, use your cream, but use it wisely. Know when to use it, know how to use it, and why to use it. And second, they saw a great boost for their app. So think about it, they get more engagement from their users. So this is Blue Air. Blue Air also comes from the personalized air purification industry. And by showing their consumers the difference between the indoor versus the outdoor levels of air pollution, businesses like Blue Air actually demonstrate the effectiveness of their air purification system. Increased awareness of product value increases customer satisfaction with their purchase, encourages proper use, and helps consumers know when they need to purchase new filters.
Amazing.
Really, yeah, it is. This awareness also creates more opportunities for positive word of mouth feedback and reviews for future customers' upsells, such as purchase new units for additional rooms in their house, in their office, and it's become much more common as well.
Actually, Soli, Blue Air also developed something really cool a novel augmented reality style web page called AirView, which you could also look at in your phone. So if you're walking down the street and you pull up AirView and you move it around, you can actually visualize the pollutants wherever you're walking. It also provided the air quality index number, specific pollutant concentration, source of pollutants, brief description of health impact. It was really contributing to the education to the public regarding air pollution. And it's also a really great way to increase brand awareness for the product in a way that's relevant and engaging to the visitor, even if we're not talking about the actual Blue Air product, which is the air purification.
Exactly. So here's an example from the marketing industry, something I'm sure you wouldn't think about. So WeatherBug is a great weather app, and they were always looking to increase their traffic and user engagement. By adding air quality and pollen data, first they got the traffic increase they were looking for. And as a company that monetizes their app by using ads, that was a perfect addition to their toolbox. Now, not only did they create more content in an easy way, they also provided interesting and important information for their users. Another great example, which you cannot see here, is the tree root campaigns. So, marketing agencies are always looking to be more creative in the ways they target their audience. So think about a product that I target according to air quality measurements. So for example, if I'm sitting in my home and air quality outside is very bad, a company that knows that can trigger a campaign with a specific product that will help me fight this bad air quality, this air pollution, and that works great for them.
Definitely high engagement on that campaign.
So these are just some of the use cases and industries that benefit from personalized environmental data, as their customers now rely on them to empower healthier decisions. But I want to stress here that the possibilities are far and wide across industries. You remember just last week we talked to a company that developed smart windows. Who would have thought? I always tell to potential clients, to people that I speak with, use your imagination, be creative, and the sooner you do it, the better. Because, in today's day and age, all companies, really in every industry, are moving to the digital world. It's no longer possible to stand out among all this competition by having a generic, outdated product. By using personalized air quality and pollen data, our consumers have been able to achieve their goals by shifting to connected products that provide a personalized user experience. It's a smarter solution. And as a result, they see amazing results: increase with product sales, adoption, usage. And when you think of it, it's obvious why. When you understand the most immediate environment for everyone, the air they breathe, you can provide a highly personalized experience, unparalleled value, and even drive healthier actions. You can give the users what they really want, and they will keep coming back for more.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Soli.
You're very welcome.
We've come to the section of the Q&A, and I want to invite you all to start sending in your questions. Send them as many as you can. We really want to hear if it's about BreezoMeter, the history, the data, your industry specifically, your industry use case, whatever you can think of, please send it through. And actually, we really wanted to be with you guys on this one.
Hello.
So here we are. Again, anything that you want to hear. I think we have a couple coming in right now, Soli. How about this one? Do you provide any other support other than just the data?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, we do. We do understand in BreezoMeter that air quality data is something rather new in the market. So, we have a lot of experience. We have a lot of use cases, companies we work with, as we mentioned, from various industries. So we would love to do it, providing UX, UI design. We have product managers who work in the air quality industry for a lot of years, and we would love to provide you with the information, with our insights, sharing our use cases, and doing like a tailor-made plan for your specific industry and specific use case.
Great, thanks, Oli. We have a bunch coming in now. I just want to remind you guys that if we don't get to your question, we will have somebody follow up with you with the answer. So please feel free to keep sending them in. Do you work worldwide? What if we need a country that you do not currently support?
Okay, I get it a lot. So we do support right now 94 countries for air quality, 56 for pollen, and it all really depends upon demand. So if you do have a use case, if you do need this service for air quality, for pollen, we know to do the research. I didn't mention that during the presentation, but half of our company is environmental engineers. So it's really research oriented. And if there's a need, we would do it. It might take a while, but we would get there.
Great, thank you. We have two here that are pretty similar, so I think you'll probably answer it. And one, do you have to have an app in order to use our API?
The answer is no. Most of the use cases are interesting because they have an app and a dashboard, but we also have a lot of companies who use our data internally. I think I actually gave an example for that for the trigger campaigns.
Yeah.
So they don't have an app, but they need our data to launch the campaign.
True.
You can use it for research. You can use it just internally to get smart decisions regarding, for example, air ventilation, when you should use internal air ventilation or outdoor air. So no, you don't gotta have, you don't need an app to use our service.
Great. Another question. Keep them coming, guys. Is this easy to implement?
It is.
Oh.
Yes, it is. Surprise.
I'll be happy to hear.
We're using a simple API, it's simple JSON script. As I said, we do provide our own backend support. So if you need any assistance from one of our R&D engineers, we would be happy to provide it. And we also have a very nice documentation that explains exactly how to implement it and how to use the features.
Which you can actually look at on our site.
Exactly. You can find everything on our website. And again, if you have any trouble with implementing the API, we're here to help.
Great, thanks, Sully. Here's another question. How can users relate to this complex data?
So
it is complex.
It is complex, but it's complex only from our side to providing it. Meaning a lot of the companies have found a way to visualize it. So if you're going to look at our website, you can see that we have our heat map, we have the air pollution.
Go to Live Map, or even download the app, BreezoMeter, iOS or Android. And sorry to cut you off, Sully, but we really think it's important, and that's why you'll see in our heat map that it's really easy to visualize what's happening. You can see the separate colors where the air pollution changes, where it goes bad to good. It's really easy to understand what's happening around you. And a lot of our customers have adopted that, in one way or another as well.
Exactly.
Thanks, Sully. Okay. I think we are going to have to end it here. Again, if we didn't get to your question, we will be following up with you with the recording, and somebody will follow up with you directly to answer your questions. So I want to thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much.
It was really interesting. And I want to thank you guys for coming. Please join us on our next webinar, and stay tuned. We'll be sharing about it soon. Have a good day.